intestinal system, we're also going to have some changes. Anatomically, well, as the uterus grows, it's going to press the stomach upwards and the intestines in a rostrolateral way. And along the digestive tract, we're also going to have some changes. Starting with the oral cavity, there's going to be an increase in salivation, but not because an increase of the activity of the salivary glands, but because there's a difficulty in swallowing associated with the nausea. And the teeth are going to remain the same because there's no PTH or vitamin D elevation during pregnancy, so there's not an increased calcium mobilization, and therefore it's not susceptible to tooth decay. And also the gums are going to be hypertrophic and hyperemic, and they're going to appear like spongy, and they bleed very easily. And this is mainly because of the high concentrations of estrogen. This is why the use of oral contraceptives may also cause these symptoms. In the esophagus, we're going to have an increase in the peristalsis, and the relaxin, which is secreted by the placenta, is going to act on the lower esophageal sphincter to relax it. And in the stomach, we're going to have a delay in the gastric emptying, and while pregnancy is associated with an increase of gastric secretion, which is going to cause an increase in the acidity of the gastric secretion, and this will cause an increase in the mucus production in the stomach. And all of these changes, along with the fact that the uterus is pressing the stomach upwards, are going to cause reflux symptoms in the pregnant woman. These are costing like 30 to 80% in all of the pregnant women, and most of them experience it during the first trimester, 52% of them, and 4% of them experience it during the second trimester, and 8.8 during the third trimester. And as we can see, the symptoms become more severe as the pregnancy advances, because the lower esophageal pressure is going to decrease, as well as its ability to respond to stimuli. And as I mentioned, the gastrointestinal motility is going to be decreased, and this is mainly because of the release or the high concentrations of progesterone, but it has also been seen that it can be caused by the estrogen because it enhances the nitric oxide secretion in the gastrointestinal tract, and this causes an alteration in the bowel motility. And this is related to the morning sickness of the pregnant woman. Well, it's a hypothesis because there's another hypothesis that the morning sickness is like an evolutionary adaptation, because it has been seen that the time where the fetus is more susceptible to toxins is the same time as the peak of the morning sickness. So it's like an adaptation, so the woman eats more bland food and less spicy food. And the intestinal transit time, because of the decreased motility, is going to be slower, mainly in the second and third trimester. In the first trimester, it's the same as in a non-pregnant woman. And this is going to cause an increase in water reabsorption, and this increase in water reabsorption, as well as the decreased motility, is going to cause constipation in the pregnant woman. And well, in the gallbladder, there's going to be an incomplete emptying, and during the cesarean delivery, it may seem like dilated and atonic. And the liver, its morphology is going to remain the same, and its production of albumins and globulins are going to be decreased, specifically of albumin. And well, some hematologic changes are that the red blood cell count is going to increase by 33%, which accounts for 450 milliliters of erythrocytes. And due to this increased erythropoiesis, we're going to need more iron, so the iron utilization reaches 6 to 7 milligrams per day. That's why when women have an iron deficiency, they may develop anemia. But something interesting is that the fetus cannot develop or will not develop anemia because there's an active transport of iron to the placenta. Also, the white blood cells are going to increase, like up to 12,000 cells per microliter. And in labor, they may increase up to 25,000 cells per microliter. And it's going to be mostly neutrophils because the basophils are seem to decrease, and the eosinophils remain unchanged. But even though there's an increase in neutrophil cells, the adhesiveness to the endothelium is going to be impaired, so this may predispose the woman to infections. And there's also going to be an increased platelet production because of an increased consumption of them, but it's physiological and it's going to be resolved during the delivery. Also, with the increased platelet production, there's going to be an increased prostaglandin production and thromboxane N2. And the clotting factors are also going to increase, giving the woman a hypercoagulative state. So fibrinogen and factor 8 are going to be the ones that increase to a greater extent. And factor 7, 9, 10, and 12 are going to increase also, but in a lesser extent. And The fibrinogen increases as the fibrinogen concentration increases, even though it's anticoagulant, but there's still going to be a procoagulant effect. And the fibrinogen synthesis in the liver is merely stimulated by the estrogen, and it may reach up to 6.55 grams per liter. And it has been seen that protein S, which is anticoagulant, is going to decrease it. And well, in the skin, we're also going to have some changes, which are going to be mainly hypermelanisation, and these are stimulated by the melanocyte-stimulating hormone, and the effects of estrogen and progesterone on the skin. So one of these is the melasma, or also called the mask of pregnancy, which is caused in the macular phase of the woman. Also, the hyperpigmentation of the linea alba, which is called the linea negra, and also the areolas are going to be hyperpigmented for the baby to see them better during breastfeeding. And well, some other cutaneous changes that we can see are the stria gravidarum, or known as stretch marks, which are caused by the stretching of the dermis and rupturing of the connective tissue, and they're like lines of thickened and hyperemic skin. Also, we're going to have cutis marmorata, which is due to the vasomotor instability in the skin. And we can also see spider angiomas and palmar erythema. And in the nails and in the hair, we're also going to have some changes. For example, the both lines in the nails. And in the hair, we're going to have a thickening that ends like 1 to 5 months after the pregnancy, after the delivery, and we're going to have a generalized hirsutism.